University of Arizona Wildcats beat the Washington State Cougars tonight. The final score, Arizona Wildcats 60, Washington State Cougars 25. One thing that kind of stood out to me was the amount of assists that T.J. McConnell had. He ended up only with 3 assists in this game, and he usually averages maybe 6, 7, sometimes 8 in most of his games. So it was kind of interesting to see T.J. McConnell didn't have too spectacular of a night. He shot 0 for 3. Or T.J. McConnell shot 0 for 3 from three-point land. Also, he made both of his free throws, so that was cool. And I guess the biggest thing that was kind of wild to me was the Arizona Wildcats only had one player in double figures. Only had one player with 11 points, and that was Caleb Tarczewski, which is kind of funny because he was the one that was out two games in that last game and the game before that. He was out because of ankle injury. But he was the highest scorer with 11 points, and he's still babying Caleb Tarczewski from the Wildcats is still babying that ankle quite a bit because he only ended up with 3 rebounds in total, 2 offensive rebounds and 1 defensive rebound. I really enjoyed the offensive rebounds. We had Aaron Gordon that had 3 offensive rebounds. He was the highest offensive rebounds Wildcat player. I'm going off on the ESPN stats here, so it might be a little bit different if you look at Sporting News or Yahoo News, Yahoo Sports, or something like that. But Aaron Gordon actually ended up with 10 rebounds, so he did really good as far as getting quite a few rebounds. And we saw Gabe York knock down a couple 3-pointers, and he was the biggest 3-point maker on the team. Everybody, like I said, everybody else, no one scored over 11 points, and the person that scored 11 points was Caleb Tarczewski, but the next person that scored the most points was T.J. McConnell, and then Nick Johnson scored 8 points also. Nick Johnson was 2 for 9, and I know that every single time that Nick Johnson has played Washington State, he hasn't. Nick Johnson from the Wildcats has not performed very well. Has not shot a very good percentage. And tonight was no exception. He ended up with 2 for 9 field goal percentage, 2 for 9 from field goals. And we ended up shooting the University of Arizona Wildcats shot 44%, while the Washington State Cougars shot 20%. Let's see something else that, of course, we out-rebounded them. The University of Arizona Wildcats out-rebounded the Washington State Cougars by quite a bit. It was total of 42 rebounds for the Wildcats compared to 28 rebounds for the Washington State Cougars. Total of 13 assists. I think we had 13 assists the last game that we played. Of course, quite a few of those assists were from T.J. McConnell, but since T.J. McConnell only had 3 assists this time against the Washington State Cougars, there was also quite a few other players that got in the mix with assists, and Aaron Gordon had 2, and Brandon Ashley had 2. Let's see, Drew Mellon had 1. Trey Mason had 1. Jordan Mays had 1. Gabe York had 2 assists, and Nick Johnson had 1 assist. It's really hard for the University of Arizona Wildcats, being in that national ranking of number 1, to get enthusiastic to play against the Washington State Cougars, because the Washington State Cougars had one of their major players out. Yeah, they had Devontae Lacey out. Washington State Cougars had Devontae Lacey out, and he was scores. I think he averages 19 points a game. But anyway, the University of Arizona Wildcats win this game, and they beat the Washington State Cougars. The final score was 60. University of Arizona Wildcats 60. Washington State Cougars 25.